Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sonny Hostin.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I just got here, so I'm a little frazzled, but I'm here, and this audience looks wonderful. So thank you for being here. I'm honored to be here with you, of course, and I'm really honored to be here for this film. And I'm here to have a conversation with this incredible, incredible, incredible writer and director of the extraordinary new film, Till. Her name is Chinonye Chukwu. I think I got that right. She's the writer and director of the film. This incredible project has been years in the making. Whoopi Goldberg couldn't be here tonight. She insisted that I be here, and she is thrilled that this has finally come to fruition. I think this film is poised as one of the most highly anticipated movies this fall. Chinonye is a brilliant filmmaker, and she is the first Black woman to win the U.S. Dramatic Grand Jury Prize at Sundance. The first for her acclaimed film, Clemency. Please join me in welcoming to the stage, Chinonye Chukwu. I think I got it right.
Good evening, everybody. How are y'all doing? Awesome. How are you doing, Sonny?
All right. Like I said, a little frazzled, but I'm happy to be here, really happy.
Likewise.
Now, if you would, tell us about your path to Till, and what was your journey like for this project? Because I know it took a long time for it to get here.
Yes. So the producers of Till approached me 3 years ago. And they had been trying to tell a version of this story for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And they approached me 3 years ago, and they were asking me, you know, how would I want to tell this story? Because they were really attracted to my artistry. And I gave them some non-negotiables. I said, you know, what attracts me the most to this story is the person who's at the center of this narrative, the person whom is responsible for the world knowing the name Emmett Till, and that is Mamie. So what mostly got me excited about the possibility of being the one to helm this story was the opportunity to craft a narrative and film that specifically focused on the emotional journey of this Black woman, Mamie Till Mobley. And the opportunity to tell a story that really was rooted in her humanity, rooted in her joy, rooted in the love that exists between her and her son, her and her community, her and her family, her and other Black women, and that really centered for the first time in a film that explored civil rights advocacy, this Black woman and her journey of evolving activist consciousness. And that's ultimately the story I wanted to tell. That one that was not focused on the physical trauma and physical violence that took her son away from her, but a story that was essentially a love story between her and her son, and a story that celebrated her incredible journey of becoming an activist that helped to change the world.
And it comes across. It's a beautiful film.
Thank you.
It comes across, and as the mother of a Black son, I felt that, right? I think that losing a child must be the worst thing that could ever happen to a mother, especially losing a child to that kind of violence. Why choose to sort of lean in to this love story between mother and son, and her desire to make everyone know and see that she is a mother like any other mother, and she was grieving the loss of her child?
Yeah. You know, I spent three years researching and really absorbing the 20 plus years of research that the producers really delved into, and speaking with family members, and really, going to Mississippi several times, in Chicago where the story is set, and you really do get this emotional understanding of the humanities that root this story. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people expect when they hear the subject matter of this story. And it was really important to me to kind of take this story off of the historical pedestal and really show Black people in all of their humanity and their beauty, and really, and that's what makes the story so remarkable. It's that it is human beings like yourself, like myself, who are on this incredible journey, that helped to change the world.
Yeah.
And there was something so powerful in that I really wanted to lean into, and that I thought would make this story so unique and so special, and one that really, really goes so far beyond the inherent pain and sadness that's only a fraction of the story.
And that's the thing. I think when we think about Emmett Till and we think about his mother's story, we think about the tragedy of it and the grief, and not necessarily the activism and the sacrifice, because I don't know that a lot of mothers would say, look at what they did to my boy, right? And sort of share that tragic grief. So I want to know, I've seen the film, but what sort of creative decisions can you share with our audience that, in your view, allowed you to showcase this love story, as you describe it, and their joy and their humanity in spite of the tragedy?
Well, I spent a significant amount of time showing Emmett as a boy, as a human being. I spent a significant amount of time showing Mamie in all of her different facets. She's kicking it with her sister friends. She's playing cards, she's dancing, she's living, she's working, she's being. And also, one of the most critical kind of non-negotiables that I had before, when the producers first approached me 3 years ago, was I said to them, listen, the only way I'm going to tell this story is if I don't show any physical violence against Black bodies, period, right?
Yeah. And that was a creative decision.
That was a creative decision that I made from the jump, and that was the only way I was going to sign on as the writer and director of this film. So we don't see any physical violence against Black bodies. There is no, relishing in that traumatic aspect of the story, and rather we're really going to live in other moments that the story is about, and that is whether, and that we'll see in the clips that we're going to play, but that's whether showing those playful moments between mother and child, that is seeing these different Black people in these different Black spaces relating to each other and being and connecting. I also was really intentional about using framing and compositional choices and cinematography choices to really prioritize Black point of view and the Black gaze. And so there's no white gaze in this film. We are really staying and looking at Black people and their faces and their point of view and their being and their community and their spaces, and not concerning ourselves with those obligatory close-ups and medium shots of the white folks reacting, looking angry and racist. And so, you know what I'm talking about. Because that's not what the story is. No. Ultimately, my intention was telling a story that celebrates how dope Black people are amidst the inherent, effed upness that comes with racialized violence and living in a white supremacist, capitalist, patriarchal society, that we still have joy, we still have community, we still are empowered, and nobody, even if you lynch my child, you cannot take my power away from me. And that's ultimately what I tried to convey in terms of the filmmaking.
And what really came across for me was the notion of mothering.
Yes.
And how Black women mother, and how we mother. Was it an artistic decision for you? What was the artistic decision that went into, she just felt something was wrong? She just knew something. Was that a decision as well?
Yeah, there was part of, Mamie had, because she was so connected to her son as a mother, she had this kind of intangible, inherent feeling that something was wrong, and that and that's part of the complexities that are kind of embroiled in her decision to let him go to Mississippi.
Yeah.
But that's her inherent understanding and connection to her son is also the reason why she decided to testify, because nobody knows her son and can identify her son like a mother can, like she can.
Yes.
And so there's just such incredible power in that.
There was. Now, we're going to show a clip. Can you describe for
Yes.
the audience what this one is about?
So what we're going to see is a couple scenes that take place the morning that Mamie takes Emmett to the train station in Mississippi, and it begins with, Emmett joyfully getting ready to go, and he's so excited, and he and his mother share a really beautiful moment of getting ready, and you really see their connection all the way through the moment when she sends him off on the train station. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you hear me now? Yes. It is just so beautifully done. And one of the things that I noticed was, as we generally send our children to church in their Sunday best, she sent him in his finest with the cufflinks and the beautiful room to show that we live like that. We take care of our own, we take care of our children. Was that also part of your creative choice?
It was. I mean, it was a couple things. One, it was accurate.
Yeah.
Emmett dressed to the nines, and so did Mamie. And it was also accurate for Black folks at that time period,
Right.
in that part in Chicago. But also, my incredible costume designer, Marcy Rogers,
Amazing
killed
costumes.
it.
Yes, it's amazing.
Killed it. And she's a Black woman who's from Chicago and has family, and her family's originally from Mississippi. So she's like, every piece of her being was committed to getting every detail of the costumes meticulously perfect.
Yeah.
And she did that. And so it was definitely a creative choice between us to make sure that we put all the Black people in vibrant color palettes, and to kind of visually communicate the beautiful vibrancy of Black folks. You know?
It came across. Now, my understanding is that the movie took decades to get made. It's the first feature film about Mamie and Emmett. I only know that because Whoopi's been talking about this for at least 10 years. And she tried to get it made. She's one of the film's producers. Now, do you think it's significant that it took a Black female executive, Alana, she's the head of MGM's Orion, to champion the story and hire a Black female director, you, and finally get it made, because she had the ability to green light it?
Yes.
I know her.
I mean, it's no wonder that a film that from top to bottom, from the exec level to the creative decision, all are Black women, that we all galvanized to tell this story about this Black woman and to center her and her point of view and her journey. And so, no, it's not.
No accident. Now, talk to us about Danielle Deadwyler, who plays Mamie so beautifully. Why, in your view, was she the right choice? Because I can't see anyone playing it now, right?
Y'all, Danielle Deadwyler. This is no hyperbole. This is not because it's my film, but it is one of the greatest performances I've ever had the honor of witnessing. Yeah. Every single take of her was excellent. I mean, excellent. I mean, to the point where there were some takes where we just forgot what we were doing. And, I had to remind myself, oh, God, we got, there was some moments where myself and the crew gave her a standing ovation.
Wow.
She channeled Mamie. She simply sent an audition tape. And we had spent months looking for our Mamie, and I wasn't familiar with her work at the time. And I was like, who is this? I usually cast for eyes. And her eyes communicated so much emotional depth and nuance. She can hold a frame without saying a word. And the audition tape she gave was without having read the whole script. It was just like a couple scenes. And I was like, where did she come from? And then we did a callback, and she killed it even more. And then she read the script, and I was like, damn, like, okay, you're Mamie, done.
Wow.
We spent a few months really diving into the research, but also going through every single emotional beat in the script from top to bottom multiple times. So she, by the time when she came to set, she had such an inherent understanding of who Mamie was on such a molecular level. And so we were able to really make some bold artistic choices on set. And she was so present and just, I mean, she just really channeled something, and she gave her whole body and soul and spirit to the performance, and you just don't see that often.
Right.
She is a star.
Oh,
A star.
beautiful. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Danielle Deadwyler. Y'all are gonna know that name.
Know her more. Now we have another clip. Can
Yes.
you set it up for us?
So I'm so excited about this scene. This is a scene between Mamie and another shero, Merle Evers. And Merle is an activist in her own right, and she's also married to Medgar Evers. And so the scene that we're about to play for you now takes place in Mississippi during the trial, and you see a beautifully quiet moment between two Black women connecting. And it's something that I just don't think that we see often on screen, and it really shows their humanity, and I'm really excited to share it with you. And the scene is especially harrowing if you know what would happen to Medgar 8 years after this takes place.
Absolutely. Have members, I think it's always difficult when you are entrusted with the story of someone that actually lived and breathed, as opposed to, let's say, fiction. And a story like this that really changed, in many respects, the trajectory of the civil rights movement. So have members of the Till family seen the film? And if so, what has been their reaction?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have made this film, and none of the producers would have made this film if we wouldn't have the undeniable support of the Till family. And so one of our producers, Keith Beauchamp, he was not only Mamie's mentee when she was alive, but he formed real deep relationships with members of the Till family. And so, Emmett's cousins who founded the Emmett Till Legacy Foundation, they've watched the film, and it was such a powerful experience. They really loved it, and they were so in awe of the accuracy, but also the beauty and that the film captured, and they were really thankful that we were able to capture Emmett's humor and everyone's complexities and humanities amidst the inherent sadness of part of the story. And so they are 1,000% on board with the film and are real advocates and champions for it.
Now, present day, there are school districts in this country that don't want, students learning about Black American heroes in history, like Mamie, and don't want students, especially, to learn about the ugly, violent stain of racism that really is part of this country's fabric since its founding. Why do you think it's important that Gen Z audiences in particular see this film and know this story?
I mean, this is not it one of my approaches to making this film was to not have it feel like a quote-unquote period piece. I mean, this is a story that is still very much part of our present, you know?
It didn't happen that long ago.
It didn't happen that long ago, you know? Emmett would have been in his early 80s, like you know, it's the racialized violence, the active silencing of Black people and denying and trying to suppress our rights to vote, all of that is very much inherent to the fabric of this country and is very much a part of our present. And the work of freedom fighters who, like Mamie, like Merle, like Medgar, like Ruby Hurley, like Dr. T.R.M. Howard, who is, in my opinion, such a great unsung hero, it's important that we continue that work that they've continued from people who activists and organizers before them. And so I think that this film really helps kind of inspire and empower Gen Z audiences and other generations to continue that work and to really appreciate the work that's been done, and it gives us some strategies for how to move forward and to continue to help dismantle some of this white supremacist violence that's embedded in every facet of this country.
And if they don't know their history, past becomes prologue.
Exactly, and it just continues and continues and continues. We have to acknowledge it. We can't erase it. We can't pretend it didn't happen. We have to understand what is at the root, what has been at the foundation of this country and every institution within it in order for us to dismantle those systems of oppression.
Exactly. Now, do you think that this quest for justice for Emmett and Mamie make this film more urgent and necessary than ever? I think so. Do you think so?
Absolutely. I mean, on a literal level, there's so much related to this specific story that is in the news to this day. But we also have so many different versions of this story that are very present in our lives. And also there's a history of the activism and the advocacy work that we see in the film. We see that today as well. And so, you know, all hope isn't lost, which is something that was really important for me to communicate in the film, so audiences can really feel possibility and empowered to do something amidst some of the ugliness and ugly realities in this world.
And some optimism. I think what's still interesting for me in watching the film is that, my goodness, the woman who claimed, you know, he whistled at her or made a pass at her, is still alive and won't see the inside of a courtroom because she's in hospice. Do you think that even makes this film more relevant today?
I mean, I don't know if it makes it keeps it very much in our consciousness. You know, I think one of the things I do in the film is explore the complicated question of what does justice look like?
Yes.
Right? What does justice look like beyond a guilty or not guilty verdict? What does justice look like beyond whether or not a warrant is served to her or not? What does justice look like on a systemic level, on an institutional level, and on a personal level as well? And it's complicated and it's layered, and I think that we have to attack it from all different kinds of perspectives.
Final question. What can audiences expect from Till, and what are you hoping the takeaway is?
I really think that audiences will watch a film that's unexpected in the best ways possible. You know, a film that is, in spite of some of the inherent sadness to the story, I think audiences, particularly Black audiences, will see themselves in the story. That this is a film that is specifically from a Black-centered point of view, even though this is a story that will impact all kinds of audiences. But I think audiences will walk away feeling empowered and hopeful and full of possibility. And I think that they will really feel and experience the love that not only exists between Mamie and Emmett, but really exists between Mamie and the communities that surrounded her and that she was a part of. And audiences will really walk away learning a lot more information, because this film is about so much more than what happened to Emmett Till. I mean, that's like, but this is about Mamie's journey. This is about all of the people who were a part of that journey, like Dr. T.R.M. Howard, like so many people in this all-Black community, Mound Bayou. And I think everybody will walk away learning something that they thought they might have known, but they didn't.
That's true.
And you will really walk away feeling hopeful and empowered, and really believe that in spite of this pain and trauma, our joy and our power transcend all.
It's beautiful. I think we're having Q&A. Am I right about that? We can't see with the lights. Am I right? Are you? Oh, I don't think we are. Well, I hope everyone will go and see this incredible film that took too long to make. She is the right shepherd for this film. Thank you for your artistry. Thank you for your work.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. It's a real blessing.
Thank you. It's in theaters starting October 14th.
October 14th. Yes, that part. That part. So thank you all. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.